Yo, what's good? It's your boy X. Just trying something new with this podcasting. Trying to do a video with it and whatnot. But we're fresh off of game 7 for Indiana versus New York. The Pacers came in and totally dominated. It was a fast-paced game from the start, but Indiana could not miss to the point where at halftime they were shooting 70% as a team. Um, which is on like some historical numbers type feat, you know what I'm saying? But they finished the game shooting 67%, so I'm pretty sure that's an NBA record. They scored the most points in the first quarter, I think which was 34 in a game 7 in NBA history. So they just came out clicking on all cylinders. And up to this point, if I'm not mistaken, they haven't won a game in New York in this whole series. So for them to just come out and just set the tone, set the pace, just get it going like that was pretty monumental. And Jalen Brunson getting hurt, fracturing his hand, and not being able to return. OG tried to come back, but he just looked like a shell of himself. Josh Hart getting hurt in the previous game, and then he was gonna get it out regardless. He didn't care, but his game was definitely not the same after that injury. Halliburton, he got back aggressive because when he's aggressive, that makes his playmaking a lot easier instead of just when he's driving and he's driving to pass the ball. He's easier to guard that way, but when he's offensive bucket getter first, even if he's not going to score it, it's just attacking to get there. It sets up the table for everyone else a whole lot better. But he did his thing. Of course, Miles Turner handled business. I think his name Nimhard or Neesmith, or I'm gonna have to look it up. I know for when they play Boston in game 1. The rookie, I think he's a rookie, or at least a second year guy. He played real solid ball. TJ McConnell has been an impact player off the bench to the point where when you see him out there, even though Halliburton's not out there, he's a bucket getter at this point. Right now, going into game 1 versus Boston, he's a bucket getter. And he looks like he's only 5'11", 6 foot flat. You want to be generous. But he's a bucket getter. He's handling business. The Pacers are just mean. They tough. They mean when they really lock in. I hadn't even talked about Pascal Siakam. He's always going to give you what he's going to give you. Siakam and Turner are a nasty duo. And New York just, they just couldn't fight it no more. They couldn't fight the injury bug anymore, and it was just too much. But for them to get as far as they did, all things considered, I think it's Julius Randle was down, Bogdanovich was down. Like I said, Brunson fractured his hand in this game, so he was out. Is it Mitchell Robinson, I think, was down. I think he was down most of the season. He wasn't even supposed to play anymore and kept playing. Of course, Josh Hart, OG, and majority of those guys that I named was the starting lineup at one point. But, you got to play. Injuries happen. You just build on this for next season. Hopefully New York doesn't do anything too crazy and try to get rid of Thibodeau, however you say his name, Coach Tibbs, and try to move people around. Folks don't need to be saying Brunson can't lead a team because he was dropping 40 all playoffs. Let's not go just be dramatic because they got what they got in game 7. It happens, man. It happens. That's why you play the game. Just got to give the credit where the credit is due to Indiana for handling business and prepare what you got to prepare, getting people healed up, going into the draft and the off season, make your moves you got to make and keep that core together. Because them Villanova boys, man, keep them guys together. Because DiVincenzo, was out here hooping. I think he ended up with like 39. He was hitting threes left and right. He thought he was back in Golden State. He thought he was back at the Bay the way he was shooting that thing. But it just wasn't enough, man. Alec Burke was handling business as well, coming off the bench, giving them, I think, like 25, 26 points, something like that, off the bench. They just couldn't get anything going enough on defense. Because when a team is shooting 70% at the half, of course you're losing by 15. When a team ends the game shooting 67% as a collective, unless you were doing something else, of course you lost that game, man. And some of the shots they were taking was, I say, was at least decent defense. You know what I mean? Towards the end of the game, when they just got, you could tell they were defeated. They were just, it was over with for them. They had the head down too much for me, and the shoulders were slumped over. It was easy buckets. Honestly, Indiana could have ended up with that 70 field goal percentage, but at one point, you just throwing up shots at this point. Like, I don't even play like that. Once you start subbing some folks in, just put some shots up, just to say you got some shots up in the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? But congrats to Indiana. Now we're going to be moving on to Indiana versus Boston, I think, on Tuesday for game 1 in the Western Conference Finals. We know my guy Jason Tatum he's Mr. Eastern Conference Finals. It's just, what are you going to do with it once you get there? Because they can't play around. They can't play around with Indiana. Because Indiana isn't your regular 6 seed from like back in the day when you'd be like, oh, eventually their luck will run out. They will play around Boston, and Indiana will be going to the finals. And won't that be crazy? So now we just waiting on the Minnesota-Denver game, see where that goes. I'm hoping for a good game. I would like to see Minnesota make it to the next round, just because I'm a Anthony Edwards fan, but I respect the play of Jokic and the Denver Nuggets, and they definitely are a complete team from top to bottom. And I'm just hyped to see what's going to happen. Game 7, Denver, what we going to get. Jokic, we know Jokic's going to give you a triple-double. Michael Porter going to hit these threes. It's just, what is Aaron Gordon going to do? And what type of effort are we going to get from Gobert on the defensive end and Cat on both ends? It's effort from Cat, period, because Cat will be playing really well on offense, and then he commits stupid fouls. Might not be the right. He commits fouls that are unnecessary. Let me say it that way. Like, why are you fouling Jokic almost at half court? Like, come on, man. They need you in there, because Nas Reed gonna come out there and play regardless of who's doing what. Don't care. Anthony Edwards gonna always be there, but Gobert and Cat gotta be on it tonight. Aaron Gordon cannot get off if Minnesota wants to win. Period. Jamal Murray, he's been so wishy-washy all playoffs, man, so you never know what you're gonna get. I know he tweaked that elbow in game 6, so we're gonna see. But we'll be back with another podcast episode after game 7 between Minnesota and the Denver Nuggets. Appreciate y'all watching. If you made it this far, leave a comment, like. If I load this up on YouTube, like, comment, subscribe. Let's start doing this, making this a thing. And we're going to go from there, man. We're just trying to push it and see what we can get going and test the waters and do whatever, man. But while we're doing that, we're going to enjoy some sports. We're going to enjoy life. And what I always say is, one love, be blessed. Yeah, yeah.